Hi, my name is Chris DiBaradino, and today I will be doing a presentation on managing Dolby's value chain with a focus on the customer experience manager perspective. Let's begin with an overview of Dolby Laboratories Inc. It was founded in 1965 in London by Ray Dolby and is currently headquartered in San Francisco. It has over 2,200 employees in 20 countries, and it's a company known for advanced audio and visual technology. Dolby made its name by bringing stereo audio to film exhibitions in theaters, and they've been a leader in digital audio technology and audio codecs. Some of their prominent products include Dolby Cinema, Dolby Atmos, and Dolby Vision. The company is in strong financial standing. It's making good revenues with over $1.27 billion in revenue in 2024. And most of that revenue comes from its licensing agreements for its technology. So 93% of all of its revenues come from licensing agreements. And the company currently has, in 2024, a free cash flow of $297 million, putting it in a good position to make some moves to try to grow. My role at Dolby is that of the Customer Experience Manager, or CX Manager for short. The responsibilities include being the champion of the customer within the company. We focus on the customer's journey from their first awareness of a product to after they've already purchased it. We interface with all the different parts of the company like marketing, sales, product development, customer support, leadership, and HR, and we gather and analyze customer data and then pass that information on to these different departments to help inform leaders and make decisions based on what the customer wants. So we inform them of their preferences, pain points, and what they want out of their experience with the brand. And the CX manager makes sure that the company is making changes that bring more value to the customer. And this is important because customer experience has great impacts on a company's performance. And as you can see in the graphic on the right, companies that focus on customer experience generate over 5 times more revenue than firms that are lacking in customer experience focus. And they're more profitable, and they see increases in revenue when they make improvements to their customer experience departments. When it comes to customer experience management and the value chain, the customer needs are at the center of everything. So that's how the customer experience manager frames the customer. It puts them at the center, and everything revolves around that. So we focus on, service and support, customer retention, and we link business functions from all over the company and connect them to the customer. There's something called customer relationship management, or CRM, where we collect a lot of data and then we use that data to make good decisions to improve the customer experience with the products or in dealing with the company itself. This mind map is connecting different parts of the value chain to show how they all come together to create a product like Dolby Cinema, and we're looking at it from the customer experience perspective. It starts with leadership, who sets the overall goals and strategy to create a product like Dolby Cinema. They'll set the vision, the mission, and the values for the entire company, and they'll set the big picture connections throughout the company so that when customer experience comes to leadership with ideas, then they're able to connect the dots and put things into motion. And then the company needs the infrastructure in place to be able to take those ideas and turn them into new products, such as Dolby Cinema. This technology doesn't come out of nowhere. The research has to be done. They need facilities and employees to be able to do that work. And Dolby has an interesting part of their infrastructure because they have a customer education branch, which includes the Dolby Academy, where they teach artists and filmmakers how to use their technology and how it could be best implemented into their work. And this is great from a customer experience perspective, because then it's going to put more films and more artwork out there using this technology and give them more opportunities to experience what that looks and sounds like in the cinema. Another part of the value chain that's important to the customer experience perspective is information management. And what this part of the value chain and part of Dolby allows is for data to be collected and analyzed so that they can do forecasting, customer relationship management, and that information can get distributed throughout the company, and the information can get analyzed so that the customer experience manager can take that data and find what are trends that customers are looking for, what are they experiencing, and what can be improved. And of course, nothing can get done without the budgeting and financial support of the company. They need to be able to put the funds out for research and development, product improvement, to have marketing campaigns or pop-up events that showcase the technology and showcase what Dolby's all about. And without all these 4 pillars of the value chain working together, the customer experience would suffer around these products and they would not be what they are today. So we're going to take a quick step out and just look at the overall Dolby value chain. Like I said before, the infrastructure is extremely important to Dolby. Their research facilities and their technology are a huge part of what the company is and what they do, and that feeds their product development, where they innovate on products and they create new technologies through research and development to get them out on the market and keep people interested in what Dolby's doing. Then in budgeting and financial support, Dolby supports its research and development by investing in 2024. They invested $263 million on R&D and $334 million in their sales and marketing. So Dolby's not afraid to invest in itself to improve its product and stay a leader in the premium audio department. Of course, to make this all work, the culture and people is extremely important. You need to have the right people with the right ideas and an environment of collaboration in such a highly innovative company as Dolby is. So Dolby invests in DEI initiatives to have a diversity of thought throughout the company, because when you have different voices working together, people of different backgrounds, different experiences, you're more likely to have different ideas that fuel innovative thought. And Dolby also has a PhD intern program where people working on their doctorates can come work at Dolby, use their research facilities and do their research and work towards their own projects while working at Dolby. And that's also a way to get new thought into the company and also find new talent. And of course, the overall goals and strategy of the company revolve around its licensing revenue, which brought in $1.18 billion in 2024 and $91 million from their own products and service revenues for their products. So here we're going to do a little SWOT analysis of Dolby, and of note are its strengths are the intellectual property that the company owns is a huge strength for the company. It has great brand recognition, has a lot of partnerships with different manufacturers of electronic products, and they have a strong research and development team, and the financial performance of the company is quite strong. These are all strengths of the company, and of course there are some downsides, and being tech reliant, being reliant on the success of OEM partners and their products means that if they're not selling, then your product isn't getting out into the world, and the demand is going to go down, and you already have a slower product visibility because you're not making your own products, they're being put into someone else's. So they are reliant on these partnerships, and they also have some old patents for Dolby Digital are expiring soon. The biggest opportunities for Dolby right now are the growing entertainment markets and the car infotainment market. There's a growing trend of people wanting premium audio in their cars, and so there's an opportunity there for making an acquisition that can instantly increase their business by putting Dolby Atmos inside of cars. And of course, the threats to the company are if their partners, the OEMs, decide to vertically integrate premium picture and sound into their devices without licensing them from Dolby. We'll see a huge hit to their licensing revenues. They're also tied to the performance of the cinemas that license out the Dolby Cinema product. So if those theaters are not performing well, then they could drop Dolby, and Dolby might not be used in as many theaters. And of course, the entire market is quickly changing, and at any time, Dolby's technology could become obsolete. So this is just an overview of the situation around Dolby right now, and it's well positioned to make an acquisition and take advantage of these opportunities for growth and getting into a new market. So to grow and get into new markets, the acquisition that Dolby wants to target is Xperi Inc., and specifically its connected car and consumer electronics divisions. A deal for these two lines of business should be achievable with $250 million that are earmarked for an acquisition, plus the cash flows that Dolby already has. Xperi is not performing very well financially right now, and they've had a net negative income and free cash flow since 2020, and their total market capitalization is only $480 million. So we think this would be a great target for Dolby to go after. Now that we've identified Xperi as the target acquisition for Dolby, let's take a look at their value chain and compare to Dolby's. And you'll see that they're pretty similar. Their infrastructure includes research facilities, which will be very valuable to Dolby in a merger. You'll also see that they're devoted to innovation, research development on their product development side, and they also support it with their budgeting and financial support, investing $222 million in R&D. And they're not afraid to spend money. They spent $850 million to acquire the DTS IP and bring that into their company. And DTS is the direct competitor to Dolby for the premium audio experience. So DTS IP is the main goal is to acquire that and eliminate that competition, while also merging those value chains eventually to create new products based on the combined IP and knowledge of the employees and researchers. So in Xperi's value chain, also their culture and people, they train for having difficult conversations within the company, and they're very invested in leadership and career programs to train future leaders and make sure that people have a defined career path that they can follow within the company. And their goals and strategy have been centered around mergers and acquisitions, and also creating diversified revenue streams through the 4 different lines of business that they have, which include pay TV, consumer electronics, connected cars, and media platforms. And as far as Dolby acquiring Xperi, the only 2 lines of business are desired, and that is the consumer electronics business, which includes DTS, and the connected cars business, which gives Dolby a chance to expand Dolby Atmos into the premium car industry. And here's a SWOT analysis of Xperi to show where they stand right now. And their strengths are definitely in their IP. They have DTS, and they also own TiVo. Again, DTS is what Dolby is interested in acquiring. It's a very tech-forward company. They have a lot of tech experience. They're invested. They have also strong partnerships with manufacturers and companies such as IMAX. And they also have a diverse strategy. Right now, their financial performance is a weakness. They are not making money for the past 4 years, and they have a negative cash flow. They don't have the brand recognition that Dolby has, and they also have problems of aging patents and being reliant on partners. Also, their monetization strategy is not proven yet, and that's mostly based around their media platforms line of business. The opportunities here with Xperi are the connected cars. They're invested in AI learning, AI and machine learning, and there's an opportunity for Xperi to divest part of the company, which is perfect for Dolby coming in to acquire it, because they need to save money and they need to start showing a positive bottom line. Similar threats to Dolby with regulations, the industry competition. They also face pirating and litigation costs for IP theft and cybersecurity threats, and it's also the same fast-changing market that Dolby finds themselves in. So here we're going to look at the stakeholders for a Dolby acquisition of Xperi, and we see that customers, employees, partners, shareholders, and competitors are all going to be affected by this merger. The partners are going to need to supply more, so sales could go up for them. We expect the shareholders to benefit greatly from this merger, possibly in both Xperi and Dolby's stocks prices. And then competitors are going to be playing catch up after Dolby gets the DTS IP and the resources from Xperi, because we expect the growth of the company and its product development to be pretty rapid once this merger is completed. And of course, customers are going to see new product development, better supply chain, and a continuation of the same goals and strategy that have made Dolby successful so far. So when this acquisition is made, it's going to be really important for the customer experience manager to manage this merger and make it as seamless as possible for the customer. And it can do that by managing the awareness of the product through marketing and brand awareness, and then communicating with customers to explain the benefits of the merger and set the expectations for how the company is going to run, how customers are going to deal with the company day to day, and then also communicate how the products are going to change and what they can expect, like what customers can expect to happen now that this acquisition is taking place. Then it's going to be really important to step up service and support, especially to make everything standard between the two companies. You want to merge the systems that you need to merge, and you want the transition to be seamless so that there's no disruption in the customer experience when they're dealing with the company. And then of course, product development. It's going to be super important to learn as much as we can about Xperi's customers and merge that data with the existing data that we have on Dolby's customers, and find out what the new needs of the customers are, and what the new data from the new customers, what that data is going to show, so trends, and then from there we work on the products to make sure that we're giving all the customers what they want. When merging the two value chains of Dolby and Xperi, some parts of the value chains are going to be synergistic right away, and then there's also going to be some risks that we're going to take bringing them in. Because the companies are pretty similar, we're hoping that product development, the infrastructure, and the culture and people are all going to come together and work as one right away. Just because Xperi is also a very innovative company based around research and development, very much like Dolby, we expect that we'll be able to hit the ground running and start developing new products to deliver more value to customers right away. And when we're saying value here, we mean performance divided by cost as defined by Prezzuti. And so we want to increase the performance of these products while finding efficiencies and lowering some costs, and of course passing that value on to the customer. And there are risks involved as well, you know, especially in leadership. Leadership is a risk because it's unclear how employees are going to respond to differing leadership styles of Dolby compared to Xperi. And if Dolby keeps the wrong leaders from Xperi on, it could create problems in the future, especially since currently Xperi is not performing very well. So picking the right people to keep on and will be part of the risk involved there. And then new employees are going to have to be trained and on the information systems that Dolby is using, and those systems are going to have to merge, and that could get messy. So there's a risk there that could slow down the process. So to maximize the value to the customer and keep this customer focused, here's the recommendations from the customer experience department. We recommend that Dolby starts focusing on the connected car and Dolby Atmos experience right away. This will allow Dolby to get their product into many more cars, which is a growing concern of people. Surveys by Friedlander said that people are very enthusiastic about premium sound in their cars. So this is a way for Dolby to instantly get more brand awareness and to get their product out to more people. So that should be the priority, followed by researching more, and of course in research and development, to take the IP from Xperi and see what we have and see what new products that can be created when you combine what Xperi's been working on and what Dolby's been working on. And then of course, once the merger's done, integrating the information systems from both companies into one unified system is going to be really important to share information, especially from customer experience is concerned. We want to make sure that we're not losing customer information in the merger between the two systems. So we need to make sure all that information is brought over to Dolby and easily accessible. That way it can be analyzed and we can start making decisions based on it. Then of course we should also move all products under the Dolby brand, and this is going to be really important for customers, because if they don't know what we intend to do with the products when we acquire, say, when we acquire Xperi and we have DTS and we have Dolby Atmos, we don't want those two brands to be competing against each other anymore. So bringing DTS under Dolby Atmos and losing DTS will be really good for brand recognition on Dolby's part, and it'll also show customers what our priorities are around our brands. So this is going to give us a market advantage, because we're going to be able to develop new products, and we're going to be the most dominant brand in those markets. And then the customer experience is going to improve, because we're going to make sure that there's a seamless transition between the two companies so that customers aren't disrupted. We're going to make sure these systems are improved and that sales can continue uninterrupted, and we can start getting even more Dolby products into more consumer electronics as well. And after this merger is completed, the future outlook is pretty good. We think that because of this merger, we're going to be the clear industry leader in premium audio. There won't be any real challengers for us once DTS is off the market. And then we're going to be able to keep expanding our product integration into more products, and we're going to have an increased brand recognition, because we're going to be putting our Dolby products into more electronics. We're going to have more experiences, better ways to experience Dolby, from your cinema to your phone to your car, through your front door and into your home entertainment area. And of course, with all of that becomes increased revenues. We're going to be able to capitalize on our market advantage and just create more sales. And in this new era, we're going to develop new products, we're going to lead the industry, and then we're going to amaze our customers. And that's what it's all about, and that's how we bring value to the customer, by developing these new products. And we're going to be able to do it faster, more efficient, and we're going to be able to go from ideas to spectacles faster than they've ever been able to before. And it's going to accelerate the growth of the bottom line, and customers are not going to have to worry about competing standards. Dolby will be the standard for premium audio and video.